is all that cord in the floor right there?
You want to talk to your people here?
Oh! We're live. I cannot tell you how hard this was to do. I don't know how in the world anybody does this online thing. I am not an online tech person.
You just watched the whole process. I bet you could do it.
No, I didn't.
Let's shut it all down. We'll be back in about 30 minutes.
Oh, shut up. I will never learn. I will never learn it. My social media guy and Gary Chapman have job security. So, Gary, but what's all that black cord in the floor right there?
That doesn't mean anything. That's not connected to anything.
You know, when a man says, that doesn't, no, pay no attention to that. That doesn't mean anything. That's when your house burns down.
The bigger question is, why didn't I wear long pants?
Yeah, because you look real.
I'm just saying, it's the time of year where my legs, I can walk in a completely dark night. My legs illuminate everything around me for 20 or 30 minutes.
I'm so grateful you said it and not me.
They're so white.
I'm sorry. So we were doing a little test video a minute ago, and I said, Gary, just make sure your pants are zipped and your legs are together, because that's the ugliest pair of shorts I've ever seen.
These are my favorite shorts.
This is how, but you don't do it. We're in the whole, look, this is what makes me nervous about this, because this goes forever. I don't want you to feel bad.
No,
now, this goes
that's
forever.
crazy. That's crazy.
This is going to be seen in Taiwan someday.
Someday? Does it take that long for the
I don't know, but I'm just saying.
Okay.
My son used to tell me, once it's out there, it's out there. You can't get it back.
Well, that's always been the case. It's just easier to find now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, be sure your sins will find you out. That's been going on for years, long time.
Even before Jesus?
No, probably around there.
Okay, I was thinking about that today. What if heaven has Wi-Fi?
They don't.
Oh. Well, you just blew my whole full thing.
Okay, they do. I want to hear where you're going.
No, I'm just saying. Isn't it interesting that this quarantine and all this crisis came along at a time when all of a sudden we have all this technology. Now, is the Lord good or what?
He's amazing. And to correct myself slightly, which I don't do often, as you know. No, I actually believe, we'll go ahead and get deep, because my dad, lived with me and my wife Cassie till he died.
Aww.
In our house after 8 years of Parkinson's, 2 years of cancer. He died in our house on Easter Sunday morning, right at sunrise. You can't write this. It was perfect. He lived well and he died better. He giggled until the very end. It was amazing.
Yes.
Well, as a result of that, and some interesting thing that happened that we could get into if you want.
I'd love to hear it.
I don't just believe in heaven anymore. I know it. I just know it. God let me see something, and it was beautiful, and it changed. It changed whatever needed changing in me. Anything that was doubting the reality of that. So I became quite a student of all those videos that you can find online about people that have died and come back. I've watched them all. If you got any questions, let me know.
I met a man who wrote a book, and gosh.
Oh, there's tons of them.
Yeah,
but
who died and went to heaven and came back.
Oh, there's lots of them. But one of the things is that there's almost like an ability to just sort of feel everything that's happening at once. His presence flows through everything, so that when you're tapped into that, you're actually kind of in that stream. So to answer your Wi-Fi question, yeah, only you don't have to plug it in, and it never goes down.
Yeah. I live in National City, which was where we are, and if it rains, sometimes our Wi-Fi goes down. Now, we're working on that. We have wonderful county commissioners and police. But all that to say, I don't know how I feel about this afterlife idea. People are constantly telling me, because my husband has passed, that, did you see the red cardinal sitting on your porch? Your husband's thinking of you.
Yeah,
I
know.
My husband came back as a red bird, a peeping Tom. That's kind of psycho. And then they'll say, did you see this or that? The blue butterfly on your shoulder means your husband's thinking of you.
No, blue butterfly. Blue butterfly?
A blue butterfly. What's that mean? People say stuff like this. Christians
If
say stuff like
a
this.
blue bird on your shoulder means that you're probably going to have to clean your shirt. But I don't know about a butterfly.
Well, you know what? My husband, he'd probably poop on my shoulder.
There you go.
You know, today, I was telling you earlier before this came on, something, you know, it's the slightest thing. I've been widowed now almost 5 years. 5 years. Which is just about the time you breathe again. And today, something silly, something funny, something hilarious, and it triggered. It just like that. I was like, oh, if he was here. If he was here, he would be making me laugh constantly.
Right.
And then also, I would be fussing with him constantly about staying home.
There's that. Yeah.
Yeah, because he always felt and thought he was invincible. He would just, you know, he'd climb Mount Rainier a couple of times. He would climb mountains later in his older life, and I'm like, you're gonna die. Don't do this. But he, you know, I always felt that way, and so. At this time, especially for those who have lost their loved ones and their spouses, when you're quarantined and you're alone, you feel doubly alone. And it was interesting that, you know, Gary and I are sitting far apart. I have all my tools when anybody comes and goes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wipe it all down. When he leaves, I wipe it all down. Now, even if we
there's
weren't in
a whole crew
quarantine,
that comes in when I leave.
yeah, exactly. Even if we weren't quarantined, I'd wipe it down.
You should.
He's weird. All that to say, today, for the first time, and I just met you not long ago. I mean, have we met?
We have, but it's always been in passing in some surface awards show-ish kind of thing, and neither one of us
Had a moment to say, really, hello.
No. But I think we both thought, you know what? At some point, we need to actually talk.
Yeah,
So there
I
we
have
are.
thought that.
Yeah.
I have thought that, Gary. You know, and I put on my Facebook today, I go, I want you guys to meet with somebody that I think there's a story there. And I don't know all of your story. I just know that who you used to be married to.
Yep.
And everybody knows that. But this is what I perceive
You
of
need
you.
to know who I'm married to now. She is so much fun.
Well, I've seen pictures.
Yeah.
She's adorable.
The pictures don't do her justice.
She's adorable, and your baby's adorable.
Yep.
And what y'all are going through is so brave and strong and good. And I'm sure this is all going to come up. But all that to say, my favorite thing is that I have many things I like about you, but I would like it more if
than
you had
these
a
shorts?
single brother. I hate your shorts. If you had a single older brother.
I don't.
Well, that's the saddest thing in the
I
whole.
don't.
Okay, the night's over. Thank
I have
you
an
for
older
coming.
brother.
Goodbye.
And he seems to like Utah. If you guys want to, I don't know.
Is he Mormon?
I'm just kidding.
Is he Mormon?
No, he's very happily married.
I'm so glad. So, all that to say, let's just do this. What is I guess songwriters don't have this, but what is your favorite song that you wrote? A song that you go, oh wow, this was my moment, this was my song. You know, Gary is a prolific songwriter. I've been looking at the whole list of songs he's written. That he's recorded, Amy has recorded, country people have recorded. What do you think is your signature song?
I don't know.
Wow, that's
I
kind
really
of
don't.
cool.
I kind of have to break it down into sort of groups.
Yeah. Is it groups?
Just from a pure songwriter's standpoint. I wrote a song called "Sweet Jesus" years ago. That there's
even
after all this time. Normally, a few years down the road, I'll rewrite them.
Really?
Well, I'll change them. I'll tweak them. I'll like, oh my gosh, why was I thinking that? And some of them I've
working on a little bit.
Some of them I've actually
Trashed.
completely rewritten verses.
Really?
Yeah, I don't stop. But
now,
that one I've
why
never
would you
touched.
rewrite them? Because you remember where you were in your brain or in your life?
No, I like to think I'm getting better.
Oh.
And when I hear one that I go, oh man, I could do that better now, I just do it. Nobody cares. Nobody's buying them anyway. I don't care. It's just for me.
Oh, stop.
No, it's true.
Should I turn the air conditioner off?
Why?
I hear it roaring.
Can
I have
you hear
ADD. Can you hear it roaring?
the roar?
Let me see what they say. Nobody is saying I hear it roaring.
You should also tell the people about the donate button before we get any further.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We do have a donate button. I don't know how to do this.
Oh.
I'm trying to read your comments.
And Tommy says that as they donate, he will text their name so we can give them a shout out. So,
Oh,
yeah, you're about
wow.
to be. You're about
That's
to
a
be
good idea.
momentarily and isolatedly famous.
In the
That's
whole
right.
stinking world.
That's right. In
Robin
Taiwan.
Dean is watching. And 4 people just donated to Branches.
There
Now,
you go.
that's pretty stinking cool.
That's what we're looking for.
Chrissy Foley says, it's fine. And Donna
Oh.
McQueen says, there's no roaring. See, I'm a little bit ADD. I don't think I'm completely ADD, like really bad ADD people. But when I am conscious of the... what are you laughing at, people's comments?
Well, my people think it's hilarious that on the post that you created,
I misspelled his name.
she called me Gary Chapman, like M-A-M.
I did it in a rush.
That's just funny though, and I think you should call me ma'am all night long.
Ma'am.
Ma'am.
That's disgusting.
That is weird, sir.
I would never call you ma'am. Don't call me sir.
See how weird it is?
You know, I will say this. The minute I really had a conversation with Gary Chapman, I went, I just met my brother. My brother from another mother. Now, y'all that's on my Facebook page, and I don't know about his Facebook page, but y'all on my Facebook page met my brother last night. My brother is a psychologist, Dr. Mike Gordon. You know, Gary, he wrote a book called Failure and How I Achieved It.
Well, I wrote a book, Humility and How I Achieved It.
Are you kidding me?
No.
It's out
I'm
there
totally
for
kidding.
me.
I'm totally kidding.
Oh.
That's irony. See, if you were really
I thought you really did. That would
if
be
you really
like
had humility, you
frightening.
wouldn't write a book about how you
Humility
achieved
and
it.
how I achieved it.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. But Failure and How I Achieved It.
He really did do that?
He really wrote it. And
Yeah.
I've been jealous of that title probably for the last 20 years.
It's a pretty great title.
It's a great title. But all that to say, he should not be married. He should not be married in that he blew his life and his marriage in bits and pieces. You just have to read the book. But all that is what drove him, and then also my bout with depression is what drove me into having I don't think it's called a franchise or whatever, but we have Branches counseling centers across the country.
That's great.
And that's why we have the button on here tonight. So if you are so inclined, and I know it's an economically frightening time, but there are counselors that are so overworked right now. They're on iPads and laptops, and they're trying to do their counseling online. They're trying to keep a safe distance with people. But there are people so anxious and so frightened and so worried. And rightly so. But if you have any type of mental illness that would make
Sure.
you be a little more anxious,
Yeah.
this is the time that
Yeah,
the
it's
devil is loving this.
Gasoline on your fire.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, and by the way,
What?
he's such a liar. Such a liar.
The
Oh,
devil?
Yeah.
Oh, heavens.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking to my brother yesterday, and we were talking about, you know, how I'm doing. He's always checking on me. I'm an isolator. I know it would be hard to believe because it seems like I would be such a social bug, but when I'm not working or when I'm off the road, I have a real tendency to hide away. And so this quarantine hasn't bothered me one bit. But the bad thing is I'll use it as an excuse.
Are you by nature actually, like, withdrawn? And then crowds make you go.
Crowds make me come alive.
See, I'm the guy, my wife will tell you this. We go to a party, when I walk in the door,
Yeah.
I'm Mr. Hey, I'm here, let's have a good time. And 5 minutes from then, I will be outside on the
Now,
porch
you know, that might be
hiding.
me a little bit.
I will be outside hiding
Yeah.
because I'm done.
My thing is, my initial walk into the room going, hey, is because I know that's what people expect.
Exactly. You're on stage. That's what they.
And when they're all satisfied with what they expect, then I want to run away.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. That's really interesting. It's true. I don't know that I was always like
I
that.
took you off your branches thing. Did you want to finish anything?
No, they got the button up there.
Okay.
You push it if you so inclined, if you can.
So
That's
there's
wonderful.
an interesting number of people that
Asking
that
something?
no, they're wanting to know if we're going to keep doing this because they think we're funny. They're not watching clearly, not watching everything, or they wouldn't think we were quite that funny. But still,
Look, Gary, I don't know what you're having over there, but this is a lot of people watching this.
oh no, it's good.
I was hoping.
it's
I
a
had
good
anxiety and depression, and I panicked after I went to the store the other day. You know, it's true. Here's what I'm learning about this. Listen to the briefings every day. Just watch it. Turn it on and watch the briefing of what's happening, what the doctors are doing, and to what the president is saying. It's so informative. Tonight, I thought was very hopeful. They were talking about the stimulus package. A family of 4 will get approximately $3,500.
right.
That's pretty good for a couple of weeks of being out of sorts. Now, it's frightening, of course, if you're completely out of work. But think of the millions of people in this country, and that will be a great help. So the other thing I thought was very hopeful, they were talking about the number of people. No one tells this. No one tells about the hundreds of thousands of people that are surviving this.
Oh my, yes.
We don't hear it at all. I don't think I've ever had it, but I don't know if I've ever had it.
Well, there seems to be a large number of people that get it and kind of don't know they
Ever had it.
Ever did.
And so there's
Asymptomatic.
two things of that. Right, they're asymptomatic, which means don't be around a lot of people. And we're not around a lot of people. You've been watching these things on my Facebook Live. I had 3 or 4 people in here a couple of weeks ago. That's when I met you for the first time.
Yeah, but they were all sick in different ways. They were not COVID-19. They were just insane.
Just weird.
Yeah.
And then I've had my brother and sister-in-law, but that's it. I haven't seen a lot of human beings. I find myself hugging my dog a lot. It's just human touch.
Actually, okay, I don't want to bust that bubble. That's probably not officially human touch, but I get it.
Well, he doesn't know he's a dog.
Okay. Sorry, Jack. It's all good.
He's looking at us right now. He's biting his paws. Okay, and so I know that biting the paws.
He should not bite his paws during this time period in history.
No, he should, because that's pollen and allergies. That's what I'm learning.
He's putting his hands on his face. Which, by the way, I guess I do it all the time. I think I must put my hands on my face 1,000 times a day.
If you're a nose picker, you're not going to survive.
That's not it. That's not it. I'm just constantly, you know.
That's not your face. That's your bald head.
But I do it every now and then. Going,
When
wow,
did you go
I
bald?
wonder. I'm not.
You just choose it.
It's all still there. It's just very, very short. No,
But you shave it off.
My wife is sitting at home going, "He's lying." No, she will
You
always.
shave it off.
I do every day.
Why?
Yeah. I just like it. I do like it.
The Bruce Willoughby. The Bruce
Or the
Willis.
Bruce Willoughby.
No,
Yeah.
the Bruce Willis wannabes.
Yes. No, you know what it's done? It's given me a lot of extra time. You have no idea how many times you check yourself in the mirror just to see
Check
if
your hair?
Yeah. And when you get all that cumulative time just handed to you, you get a lot accomplished. My productivity went out the roof.
Oh, please.
It's true. It's absolutely
So
true.
what you're saying, if every woman shaves their hair, clips their fingernails,
Yeah.
and doesn't wear makeup, we would be able to change the world because
Pretty much.
we probably will.
Yeah. Not as much as we could change it if you had some sweatpants I could put on, because I keep looking at this video. My legs are actually getting whiter as we sit here.
That's gonna be the theme of the night.
Turn the lights down.
Oh
Good
my
grief.
gosh.
Do you have any
Thank you
self-tanner?
guys.
Hey, how long
Thank you.
How long are we going to be on? Because if you've got some self-tanner, I can get these suckers.
Oh no. Oh, you know
I
what?
can get them right.
I probably have some. It's probably way out of date. It would you would leave here with the orangish legs.
There you go, Trump legs. I want it.
I beg your pardon.
Well, he's a little orange sometimes.
He is
A little bit.
Okay, so what do you think about the job he's doing?
You know what? I think he's doing an amazing job. I do.
I do too.
I'm one of those guys that I've never met him, so I'm not going to tell you that I love him or I hate him. I don't know.
I met him.
I don't know. I don't know. He seems brilliant. He seems way eccentric. He may be technically on the spectrum. I have a kid on the spectrum, so I know what I'm talking about.
What spectrum mean?
Like the autistic spectrum is what I'm talking about. But extremely high functioning people have this certain
Quirk.
thing about the way they communicate.
I agree.
A repetitive thing. And anyway,
I agree with that.
I'm not a doctor. But,
I had a daughter who was off the chain. Intelligent.
Yeah. Well, I've got one of those now. We can talk about her. Good grief, she's crazy smart.
Let's don't talk about mine.
Okay, so at this point, I'm not going to say I don't care. It is not my job to police whether or not he's doing everything correct or not. It's my job as a voter and as an American. And I do want to meet him at some point because I bet he's really funny. I hear that he's really funny given the right circumstance.
Given the right circumstance, maybe. I remember I went to the White House.
Unless you cross it, then he's not so funny.
I've also heard that too.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, and I'm not trying to start something, but I always do. I'm on the Women's Advisory Board for the president. I'm also part of the Faith Coalition, and so I'm privy to these private little phone calls with different cabinet members and all that. And
Yep.
it's off the record, but it's also just to keep us informed. And I know they do it very brilliantly so that we get a tidbit of information and we send it to our constituents, whoever are following. But all that to say, I've had the opportunity to be in the room when he's in the room several times. And I don't know about you, but you're an entertainer. You're such a great entertainer. And I am too. And our job as entertainers is that we read people.
Yeah.
I can tell when an audience is not enjoying it. I can tell when an audience is distracted. Or I can tell when the audience is so into it.
So, how are you feeling right now?
Like right now. I can't tell anything right now. So that's what makes that's what makes online hard, and which makes it much more fun that you're here. If I was I know I have very dear friends that do this and they talk.
Oh, you would be so far down a rabbit hole by now.
Oh, my career would be over.
Yeah.
Because I would say something stupid.
Yeah, that's true.
But all that.
It's true, you would. No question.
But all that to say, I've been in the room with it, and from what I can read as a human being that reads people, I think he's so smart that he's weird.
Yeah.
He is not my pastor. I didn't vote for my spiritual leader. I voted for somebody savvy that would also push forward the things I believe in, the things I want. When he said the other day about as our country comes back to life, as we decide when we're going to get back into the workforce, when it's going to be safe, and there'll be a lot of counties that have had no coronavirus.
Yeah.
There's cities that have had no problem, whatever. So those people could slowly get back to work. And when he said, wouldn't it be great by Easter? That's an important day to me, this resurrection idea.
Could resurrect the country, yeah. The timing would be great.
Cold chills.
If that worked out, the timing would be great.
Yes.
Granted. Now, if he misses it a few days, and I just want the right decision.
Oh, I want the right decision by all means. But I'm just saying, it was so as a Christian,
right?
That was so precious. Now, if it doesn't happen, I'm fine. But just the idea that he thought of that,
I know,
and was willing to voice that. There are a lot of presidents that were wonderful people, but they just never were willing to voice
honestly,
it.
that's probably the thing that I like about him most. If I'm just looking at the person,
right?
Not his record. Zero filter, as nearly as I can tell.
Well, I can relate to something like that.
I love that. I love blatant, in-your-face honesty. Offend me, don't lie to me.
Oh my gosh, exactly right. I have friends. Today, I was talking to my wonderful entertainment lawyer, who's been my wonderful friend and entertainment lawyer, and you're probably watching right now, for over 25 years. And he and I are so opposite of how we feel. And he sent me some little thing for me to watch and check out. This is our dear leader. And I said, dear leader or not so dear leader, he is our leader.
Yeah.
And my mother taught me, whoever's in the White House, you don't say anything about him.
Oh, yeah.
I never said, I would have gone to the White House and I wouldn't have had a beer because I don't like beer. But I would have sat down and talked to Obama. I would have been so privileged.
Oh, yeah.
I would have felt so honored.
He did not invite me.
He didn't invite me either.
Yeah. It's okay.
Darn it.
It's okay.
But I would have done it. But all that to say, this is not the time. When I'm watching what's going on in the Senate and the Congress right now and the stimulus package, it is not the time to be our hatred and our frustration and all that. But in a time of crisis, and this is just 9/11 happened instantly.
Right.
This has creeped in, but it's still another 9/11.
Oh, yeah, it's just
a
gradual.
slow, right. And that is
Slow
not
coming
the
in,
time.
slow going out. It's going to be in there.
That's right. And it's not the time for this hatred and dissent and this disgust and all
Well, what it does is expose the depth of the hatred. Because if you're choosing
that. To still run that road.
to still walk that path
Wow.
in light of where we are,
Yeah.
good Lord, find a mirror, look yourself in the eye, just please, just for a minute, check yourself, because that's just, that's
and I
completely
wonder,
selfish.
I know this is terrible. This makes no sense whatsoever. I can't believe it's in
What's
my
coming out of
brain.
your mouth, so I'm going to buy it.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, I've been broken. I've been broken. I have failed.
Cannot relate, but keep talking.
I failed my family. I have failed life.
You know I'm kidding.
I've been deeply depressed. I am a broken creature. And so when people ask me, how can you like Donald Trump? I go, he's so broken.
Oh, yeah.
He is a hot mess.
Busted. Yeah.
And I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I can't relate to perfection. And I'm not a really good friend to perfect people. They kind of get on my nerves.
I've only met one and not in face to face just yet. So.
That was just Jesus, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I've met a lot of people that think they're perfect.
Well, they're wrong.
Yeah, they are.
So they're not perfect.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So,
You know-
what?
Oh, I was just thinking, one of the cool things that's going to come out of this,
Yeah.
it's my prediction. Even if you're just thinking, just logically, not spiritually, not emotionally, you're just thinking logically, you're kind of going, honey, should we live in town or should we get a little place a
Wow.
little further out, maybe
That's
a little small
interesting.
town? I think there will be, I'm going to create a word, a ruralization to some degree of America, because it's just a lot safer.
Right?
And I have a theory. I'm not going to run for president, but if I did, this is my entire platform. You ready? Everybody has to grow up in a small town.
Well,
Because
I
if you
love
grow,
my town.
if you're in a small town, you can steal something, but then you're a thief, and you can run around on your wife, but then you're the guy that I can't leave my wife with and feel comfortable.
And people know your
Everybody
business.
knows everything.
Well, that's
And-
Ashland City, Tennessee.
And there is an accountability that's built into that causes you to actually walk the straight and narrow during that formative time in your life. Now, when you
Yeah.
get, hang on, let me finish. It's a whole well-rounded thing. When you get old enough to, move off and go to school or whatever, you can go to the city.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Just head to Dallas and embrace it.
Figure some stuff out.
Absolutely. Have a good time.
New York City.
Do
Figure it out.
Absolutely do it. Now,
Not now.
inevitably, you probably are going to meet somebody that you love, and you're going to fall in love, and you're going to get married. Now, when you get married, you can go ahead and have fun until you have a child. And then you got to go back to the small town, because that kid's got to grow up in the small town too. It'll just create this, that we have too much power in the cities, and all the real fabulous humans that live out in the middle of stinking nowhere where I grew up, with all due respect to DeLeon, Texas, all those people have such incredible value and work ethic and morals. They really are the backbone of this country. Period.
So
Period.
John Mellencamp was right all along.
He was totally right
Just
about
a small
that.
town girl.
Yeah. So can I get elected on that platform, you think? Probably
I
not.
think you could. Have you ever thought about running? For
No. No.
Why?
I don't like politicians, and I want to like me.
Well, I don't like politicians either, but there are some that are good. We need good ones.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you to name them. Yeah, I've never had. I've actually been.
Politics ruins everybody.
Yeah.
You know, I would run if I didn't have to be a politician.
I will say this: if we really did go back to citizen legislators, if you will,
Yeah.
and we had the common sense, and if you haven't come on this side of the fence in the past few days, good Lord help you, term stinking limits.
Oh my stars!
They get up there so long, they get so entrenched, they get in this. You paid me to do X, so now I'm going to have to keep doing X until I get out of here, and they never leave.
Oh, it killed me.
I'm so done with that.
The whole debate about this.
Oh, that's just crazy. Let's don't get depressed and talk about that. But I do think that if they ever took it back to that way, the way that it was supposed to be, where you go up there, do your best, make the sacrifice, walk away from your business or whatever, get up there, do your job, just like if you were in the military or whatever else to serve our country, and then go back home and let somebody else take your seat. That would be different. I'd run that.
So somebody just posted they're headed back to their small town, come creek or high water.
There you go.
They're going by tractor, whatever they got to. Oh, somebody says, please, Gary.
Run? No.
No. Here's a good one, though, Gary.
What is it?
Please sing Ain't Got a Prayer Without Jesus.
Oh, my gosh.
Do you remember it?
That actually fits really well.
It does.
Oh, wow.
All right, get your guitar going.
All right.
While you're getting it going, I'm gonna read some of these comments. Jesus loves to remold broken people. Oh my gosh, I know because I'm dizzy. I'm dizzy from being on the pottery wheel. What a great! I'm dizzy from being on the pottery wheel. I love it. Oh my stars. And then a few people said, yes, Chonda for president. That'll just really bring you down. I do believe that about small town. But
I'm trying to remember this. You keep yapping while I get the letter. Just kidding.
Can't you live in a big city and maintain a small town spirit?
Well, see, that's what would happen. If you had to grow up in a small town, you would bring it with you.
Yeah. That's true.
You'd bring it with you. You would.
When David died, I was living in Murfreesboro, Tennessee for many years. I loved my church, World Outreach Church. Shout out to Alan Jackson. I grew up so much spiritually there. My kids grew up there. And then David died, and we were in the middle of selling our house, and we've had a farm out here for a long time, but we went to high school here in Ashland City, Tennessee, and he was my high school sweetheart, even though I dated a few people here and there. But we always came back to each other. There was something about coming back after he died and trying to pick up the pieces, coming back to where people knew you as you were. They didn't know me as Chonda Pierce. They didn't know me as a comedian. They just remembered the kid, or the friend, or the pal they saw in the grocery store. There was something very comforting about that. And so even in this isolation, and I'm isolated and quarantined here in Ashland City in a little town trying to do all that they tell us to do, nobody comes up here, but I still sanitize everything and clean everything. But all that to say, there is a small town spirit that you can have. And I think in your small town, maybe the mayor of your small town, maybe the person that is your stronghold in your small town, maybe the person that is there to remind you you're not alone, that friend across the hall in my building, or the person that you see. Christ has such the ability to be your tender voice in the small town. And I'm going to cry. Today, watching the news, and the people that are passing away, and it's horrible. And the people passing away that are isolated. One of the tender blessings was to be there with my mother when she died, and to be there with my husband when he died. And there are people who are losing their loved ones, and they can't be there while they pass. And that simply broke my heart today, to let those people know, in the big picture, they were not alone. They were not alone. Yeah, that small town mentality, it is a absolutely, that's a really, we caught on to something, my friend.
Yep.
We caught on to something about small town. And my heart goes out to the people in New York City. I love New York. I've vacationed in New York. When I want to feel really isolated and alone and get away from the humanity, I go to New York because there's so many people. Nobody's paying attention to who I am. And so I go there. But my heart was sad to know that almost 50% of the coronavirus cases right now, there's this giant majority coming out of New York City. And that makes sense because that's where millions of people live. New York City is bigger than most countries that have gone through this. New York City is populated by more people than most of the countries that are going through this corona scare. And so all that to say, we have to be in prayer for those people. It was very hopeful to hear the scientists and the doctors say today that there are plenty of respirators there for New York right now. There are empty ICU beds. That was very hopeful. Empty ICU beds in New York right now. So that's hopeful because I have a cousin, Janaway, you know who I'm talking to, Kevin Janaway. There are people, I have cousins that live in New York. I have dear friends that live in New York City. I have wonderful friends that live in Manhattan, and they are so quarantined in, and so my prayer goes out to them. But I'm going to tell you, it's hopeful, because if you have the small town mentality, you're not alone. And I absolutely love that. Oh, did you find your song?
Yep.
Isn't it funny? Here's this famous singer-songwriter. He's over here Googling his own song.
I can't remember all those words. Are you kidding?
How many songs have you written?
I don't know, but
Hundreds.
enough that I can't remember all the words.
Well, that might be kind of part of your age.
You know, you could be right, Doris. I don't know.
Doris! I'm not Doris!
Just kidding.
All right. Get it going, brother. Get it going, brother.
I'm close.
Oh, someone says, hey, sister, thanks for doing this. It's uplifting. I've been really down and tired. Oh, my God. Wait. Need to head to bed, so good night. Oh, don't go to bed. You got to hear him sing. This is my favorite part of the night. Small mentality with you. Yeah, that's true. I wonder how.
What?
In the middle, I'm sorry, but in the middle of all this tender stuff we just did, someone says, where's Gary's hair?
It went to be with Jesus.
Somebody remembered you with hair. I don't even know. I didn't know you with hair.
Really? Oh, man.
Well, I mean, I saw albums and such. I know you don't. Oh, someone said I grew up in the Air Force. Boy, that's hard. That's almost like the pastorate. Although I think growing up in the military is kind of harder than the pastorate. I grew up in the past as a pastor's kid, and we moved around a lot. In the military, you guys move around a lot.
Yeah, I can't find it. I'll remember most of it.
That is so very sad. Or it's not sad.
Well,
I don't know. She just said that's very sad. Oh my gosh, precious. All right, I'm ready.
okay. Yeah, this is timely.
Because while you're singing,
Whoever asked for this,
this
smart.
is perfect. Yeah.
Okay. And if I don't remember it all, you can go look it up and listen to it. Hang on. I'm selectively anal. I went to D.C. when I was just 13, and I believed it all. There were heroes carved in stone to back up every single thing that I've been taught.
Wow.
But these days I look to Washington for nothing. That's exactly what I get. It's my family and my friends that I rely on. They're by far a safer bet. And we all do our best to do our part, to be right there for everyone who needs us. But we ain't got a prayer without Jesus. Everyone I know is doing everything they can to have enough. We're all chasing after dollars when the dollar says it's God that we should trust. Wealth cannot be held in houses. Riches quickly flow through empty seeking hands. But there's confidence in knowing that it's all held within your loving hands. And we all do our best to do our part, to be right there for everyone who needs us. But we ain't got a prayer without Jesus. Yeah, we all do our best to do our part, to be right there for everyone who needs us. But we ain't got a prayer without Jesus.
Lord have mercy.
I screwed it up a little bit, and I forgot, and I didn't do the bridge. But now you have a reason to go purchase it online.
Oh my gosh! Thank you. That's the television evangelist.
There you go. Have you noticed that every single preacher in this country in the past 2 weeks has become a televangelist? All of them.
That's true.
Every single one of them. And some of them
Don't need to be.
are really good at it. And some of them just suck.
Don't need to be.
Oh my gosh, they should not be.
There's a couple of churches out there doing their online thing, which I love it. I love it.
My
I like
church
the
is doing it.
Yeah,
And
me
they're
too. My
actually
pastor.
great.
I love my pastor, Shiloh
No,
Hackett.
my pastor's better than your pastor.
No, my pastor's better than your pastor. My pastor is Shiloh Hackett.
Mm-hmm. Mine's Australian. Darren Whitehead.
Darren
every preacher,
Whitehead.
every preacher should have an Australian accent.
No.
It causes you to trust and believe everything they say because it just sounds so good.
Shiloh Hackett. The reason I go to this church is because if a child survived life with a name like Shiloh Hackett,
Yeah.
I have great
In relation to
respect.
Buddy,
Oh, Buddy
you remember Buddy Hackett?
I do. That was a funny guy.
He was very funny.
Speaking of funny, Friday night we're going to go to Zanies.
That's right.
Zanies is a comedy club.
Yep.
Okay, here's the funniest thing about that whole thing, Gary. I've never performed at
I
Zanies.
haven't either. No.
But they invited us, and I love it that they want to highlight clean comics and clean entertainers.
I'm not a comedian. I don't have any material. I just respond to what happens. I don't have zero material.
You have timing. That's what timing is.
Okay, then
That's
I've
what
been out.
comedy is about timing.
I'm a comedian.
Yeah,
There
she
you
is
go.
a comedian. You know, I remember when you were hosting Sam's Place.
Yep.
I went one time. I sat way up in the balcony, bought a ticket like everybody else. You're funny.
You know, that's the best
You'd go out and introduce people, and then you'd sing a song, and then you'd introduce people, and he was so stinking funny.
Best job I ever lost right there. It was at the Ryman Auditorium, which is my favorite place in the world to listen to my own voice. Oh my gosh.
So is it? You know, I recorded 3 videos at the Ryman.
Did you really?
Yes.
Can people purchase those online? I'm just kidding. It was a joke. It was a joke.
No, they could probably steal them off of YouTube or something.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you could steal
so
everything.
what happened
under
to Sam's place?
Somebody in their infinite wisdom decided that it was time for it to stop, and it did.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, they still having an audience?
We had a great audience when they left. It's the same with TNN. That whole thing just vanished.
Well, I remember that. Now, in TNN, the National Network.
Yep.
See, this is the Gary Chapman I knew. You were on, was it Hee Haw?
No. But we did a Hee Haw salute a couple times.
Yeah. But what was it? You took Tom Wolf's
It was actually Ralph Emery's show.
Yes.
Ralph did it forever, like since the earth cooled.
But you took Tom Wolpat's place. What was he doing?
Ralph did it forever. Then Charlie and Lorianne, Cook and Chase.
Yeah, I did Cook and Chase early in my career.
Did it for a couple of years. It didn't work out incredibly well. Great people, but so then they had this period where they just like cycled people in and out, and Wolpat was the last one that cycled in. Yeah.
Wow, and you took his place.
Totally stole it. Yes, loved it.
But what did you do there?
What did I do?
Yeah, what did you do on the show?
I hosted the Nightly Talk Variety for 4 years.
Shut up!
Yeah.
You know that's my dream.
You didn't know that?
No. My dream in life is to, not my dream in life.
I've got to update my Wikipedia because I know you studied all about it. And you
I didn't study that much because I didn't want to. I wanted to hear it fresh from you. My dream, you know, I tour and I love what I do, and I love having an audience. You can't do comedy and not have an audience. I don't know how people do it in these about.
I was there until my wife said, "Don't listen to her anymore."
Yeah, you got a gig.
Yeah.
What are you doing now?
This is it.
Oh, shut up.
I sit around rooms and talk to phones. No, I sell lots and lots of weed. You think I'm kidding? No, it's industrial hemp. You can't get high with it. But yeah, I got into that business a few years ago. And
I probably just scored points with my son.
No. See, now everybody makes that mistake. This is CBD oil. It's balm for your achy joints because we're all getting old and whining.
CBD oil. Oh, that's what you sell.
Yeah, it's the same, to some degree, the same plant. And you walk out into a field of it, it looks and smells exactly like the stuff that you would roll up and smoke and get high, but you won't get high.
On CBD oil?
No.
I put it in my diffuser every night hoping.
Yeah, you're
just kidding.
Dreaming of a moment.
Yeah.
No, it's a really good business.
Interesting. So you're a businessman. You're an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Turns out.
But you also still write songs.
I don't know how to stop.
What's your latest thing you're working on with someone?
I've got a song.
Well, Kathleen Gifford named Brahma.
We didn't. You know what? We didn't get anything done. We sat and laughed and talked for 3 hours and didn't do jack. But we were officially writing. Yeah.
So you could write it off on your taxes, the
That's
gas,
pretty much
all the
the
way
reason.
there.
That's pretty much it. Everything is deductible if you're a songwriter. It's the truth.
I'm going to start writing songs then.
Everything inspires me everywhere I go.
3 songs in my whole career. Now I rewrite a lot of parody. I make a lot of like disco songs. I like to rewrite them and sing them in my show. You've never seen my show, but I'm kind of funny. People tell me that.
I kind of want to come see one.
You need to. I really need you. You just need to step out and entertain my crowd.
Say when. I'm in.
Okay. So what time is it? Oh my gosh.
Oh wow.
Oh, we are over the time. Okay, just continue. Go to bed if you have to go to bed. But if you don't have to go to bed, hey.
We never did actually talk about any of the things that we thought we were going to talk about.
No, but here is.
Which is funny. I love that.
I wanted to talk about the terms we've never heard.
Okay.
I never heard contact tracing.
You never heard what?
Contact tracing until now.
Oh, well then you've never hired a private detective. No, I'm
write
just
that
saying.
down about him. Don't let him in my house again. Got it. But contact tracing. A doctor has said that all week long. Contact tracing.
Yeah, they got to find out where you've been, what you did, who you touched, who you infected. Yeah.
Well, that's a really short list for me.
Yeah.
That's how sad
It's
my
me
dating
and
life is.
it's me and Jack, as nearly as I can tell.
Yeah, me and Jack.
Jack ain't talking.
Yeah. Then social distancing, of course, that's a big.
You know what? I think that's horribly named. Somebody said this the other day. May have been my brilliant pastor. I don't know. It shouldn't be social distancing. It's physical distancing. We shouldn't distance each other socially. Not at all.
I agree with that.
You shouldn't do that.
Physical distancing.
Yeah.
That's a much better term.
Yeah, but that social distancing sounds like we're trying to avoid each other. No, we're not.
Social distancing.
We're trying to not get infected.
But
It doesn't
social distancing is the result of my eHarmony test.
Oh, yeah. Will that do it?
That's it.
Oh.
And then the other word, streaming. Everything's streaming. People are streaming their concerts.
Right.
People are streaming this. We're not streaming. We're on just on Facebook
Well,
Live.
at my age,
Streaming.
a good solid stream is very important.
That's what I was going to say.
And seriously, did I steal your line?
I wrote it down. It's a good peep.
I'm so sorry.
No, but it's hysterical. We're kind of close to the same age.
I'm
And
ripping your material.
no, it's
funny.
it's really funny. And then what was the other thing I wanted to talk about tonight? Oh, here's the other thing I want to say in case anybody's still awake and watching. What I've learned in this whole governmental process of this crisis is the role of the governor.
Oh yeah, governors are rocking, and
Our governor's a rock star.
I got to tell you, in Tennessee, we are so crazy blessed.
I've never met him. Have you?
I have.
I have
He's
not.
an amazing
See,
guy.
I met the president. You met the governor.
He's an amazing guy.
I've never met him, but he is a rock star. What he's doing for the state of
He's
Tennessee.
exactly who you think he is.
Oh, good.
Absolutely exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for the people that do need their elected officials to be upright and upstanding and
Well,
as straight as an arrow,
they're not going to
just go look at actually Bill Lee is like a cleaner version of Stephen Curtis Chapman. And Stephen Curtis Chapman, I've called him Squeaky his whole life. He's the cleanest guy.
I don't.
He's squeaky.
I don't trust squeaky people.
I'm just telling you, he's squeaky, and he's really
Okay. I'm just saying. We worked at Opryland together.
You and Stephen Curtis?
He,
You got Stephen Dirt?
I have Stephen Dirt.
Oh, this is solid. This
And
is
he
quality.
knows it.
This is quality streaming
He
right
knows
here.
I do.
Oh wow.
If you ever worked in a show that's outside and you change clothes really quick, you go backstage, you change clothes, you go out, everything just happens so fast. But I know Stephen Curtis Chapman.
That's really more information than I was hoping for.
Exactly. And all I'm saying is men have to wear dance belts.
Dance belt. What's a dance belt?
It's sort of like a jock strap for dancers.
So I should wear a dance belt with these shorts, is what you're telling me.
Well, dear Lord have mercy. I don't even want to get into that. I wouldn't even know. But all what I'm saying is, yeah, I have some things to say about Stephen Curtis Chapman, which is probably why he won't work with me. I've worked with him once or twice, and I scared him to death and embarrassed him to death. But now I love Mary Beth. Mary Beth.
He won't work with me either.
Yeah. Well,
I think it just makes the marquee look weird.
Stephen Curtis and Gary Chapman.
Yeah. And his little brother,
You
Gary.
look a little, yeah. You look a little, or you could be, you could work a lot in some cities.
And everybody would think it's the 5 languages guy.
So, now, Gary, let me ask you something about your life. So,
Now it's going to get good.
what time is it? Oh my gosh, we've been going almost 2 hours. It's awesome.
We have not.
No, we've only been going an hour. That's right. I thought
We're
we
going to
started
do
at
math
7.
class after this.
Shut up. Gary, so, do you want to tell me about your story a little bit?
You can ask me anything. I'm
Really?
wide open. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so here's the thing. I love Amy.
Got it. Totally understand the concept.
Right, and I don't know her really personally
She's
well.
awesome.
But I have visited with her, I have performed, on the same platform with her a few times, and I think I could say, if I was dying on the side of a street, I think she would stop and help me.
She would totally help. Yes.
Okay, good. Because I think she likes
No,
me.
she's who you think she is.
I know, I do too.
Yeah.
I've been around Vince a little more than
Right.
her because just of being on the Opry a lot.
Right.
But and they're great, great couple, whatever. But I want to tell you something. My attitude changed about her a long time ago because I was suspect. And I know that sounds horrible. And this is a very honest thing. And I hope she sees this so I could tell her how much I love her and how much I apologize. But I always wondered, what the heck happened there?
I was suspect as well, so I get it.
Yeah. So I was kind of hurt. Now, I think what happened to her as a result of her singing, crossover songs and all that was so ridiculous.
Yeah, that was stupid. She loved
the Christian
Jesus and never
community
did
is
stop.
so ridiculous, right?
Yeah, they kill the wounded.
Yes, they do. They do, and I know that. And then sometimes there are people, you got to read Failure and How I Achieved It, my brother's book.
I'm ready.
Yeah, you got to read it. And sometimes they need to have their, they need to have a whooping.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand any of that about all of you. And I was in the middle of raising kids and trying to figure out who I am as an artist and what I wanted to be when I grew up, when all that happened.
Right.
I am a person that many, many years ago, I was at, what's Estes Park?
Mm-hmm.
They used to have that.
Oh, I know. I was there.
Yeah, they had the Estes Park. Estes Park, Colorado used to have a thing for Christian artists called, what was it called?
Christian Artist Retreat.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And I remember being there, and Sandy Patty was singing.
Mm-hmm.
And she hadn't sung, in front of people for a long time. And I was kind of new on the scene, and all of a sudden I was kind of busting up a little bit and drawing big crowds or whatever. And so, I was the new kid on the block. And she got up and sang a song that just touched me so much. And I went backstage like a gullible idiot and said, "Hi, I'm Chonda Beers, and I'm a comedian, and I was wondering if you'd ever be interested in going on tour with me." And she said, "I'm just now singing in public." And I'm like, "Well, okay, but that's fine, but but would you? I don't want to insult you, but would you ever be interested in doing a tour together?" And she said, "You don't realize, 12 years ago, I had an affair on the road." And I got a divorce, and they took all my stuff out of the Christian bookstores.
They did.
Oh my God, did they wreck her over the coals? And I wound up divorcing and blah blah. And she's telling me this whole story, and I'm sitting there going, And I said, "Well, 12 years ago, I was working in a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to make tips and be funny
Right.
and play my music. So I don't care. You want to go on tour?" And she was like, she was so taken aback. All that, fast forward, we had a great tour. It was really wonderful. And she was so sweet to write about it in a book she wrote and all that. But all that to say, that's where I was when all this was going on about you and your life.
Right.
So I totally missed the story. And I remember being backstage at the Opry one night, and Vince was singing, because that's what I do when I'm at home. I'm on the Opry a
Sure.
lot.
Yeah.
And then he said something about his wife walking out to sing with him, and it was her. And I'm like, what? I had no idea.
Really?
No idea. I had no idea what happened to you. What happened to you?
Well, until the last 3 or 4 years, I have not talked about it.
Real? I'm sorry.
And I'll tell you why. Because it
Okay.
is the most. I'm sure my wife is sitting home going, "Shut up, just shut up."
I love your wife, so shut up.
No, she's amazing. But the reality is, this is a beautiful story.
Yeah.
1994 or so, she came to me and said that she didn't love me anymore, to giving her heart to another guy, and wanted a divorce. And I said, no. Nobody in my family ever got divorced, and I was not going to be the first. We had 3 little kids, and I just said no. and I dug my heels in. And that was 5 years of that. And
5 years
5 years.
of negotiating divorce time.
No negotiating. 5 years
Oh,
of me
you-
saying no. And I just got tired. And so we did divorce. So a year or so after we divorced, she came to me, and because we didn't fight over anything. We didn't fight over a dang thing. And just for the record, no, I was not doing drugs. No, I was not abusive. All that crap that got spread around was exactly that. It was crap. But things happen. People make choices. And but she came to me and said, "Please forgive me. I'm sorry." And we had 3 little kids. And I said yes, because you don't stop loving somebody. You don't. It gets, obviously strained and weird. But if you love somebody, you love somebody. So I said absolutely. Now, I did not do the same with Vince. And we were friends, I justified my unforgiveness with what I now know is a completely irrelevant fact that he had never asked me for it. And about 4 years ago now, I was absolutely just driving down the road, minding my own business. And I don't say this often, I don't say it lightly, but God talked to me. No, he didn't come through the Bluetooth speaker. It was just so clear and so out of the blue. He just said, "You've got to forgive him." And I said, "Okay, but I don't know how." I've always been really good at setting up a moment. It's what makes me do what I do on stage. I read the space. I see what it requires. I do it. It generally works. And I just couldn't let it be that. I can't set this up. I can't do that. You got to give me a moment. And if you give me the moment, I will do it. Took him about 3 months. I went out to, they call it Sky whatever now. It used to be North Star. Remember that place out on Dickerson Road where everybody does their videotaping? Larry's Country Diner and all that stuff. I was out there doing Larry's show, and I'd do my deal, and I'd go to the dressing room, and I'd change clothes, threw my guitar over my shoulder, opened the door, and from me to the camera,
He's standing there.
there he is.
Vince
Well,
Gill.
this has happened literally hundreds of times in the past 20 years.
But this time,
Because it's a very small community.
right?
We'd see each other at shows, at parties, at family things, at whatever. And we had never obviously worked out our system, but we had developed one. And it would work the same way every time. We would see each other, and once we knew the other guy was there, we would pretty much just pivot 180 degrees.
You just never had to be alone.
And just walk the other
Yeah.
way. And we did it then. And I got about 20 steps away, and I'm telling you, it wouldn't have been any more vivid and real if God had actually taken his fabulous finger and just gone, "You asked me for a moment. What do you think that was?" It's like, dang it, you're right. And I turned around, walked into the open doorway. He was in the dressing room next to mine. He was doing Marty Stewart's show. And he was in there, and as I stepped into the doorway, he and whoever was there was laughing. Satan's last-ditch attempt to stop it. Because clearly, in my mind,
I'm interrupting something.
well, I'm interrupting them laughing at me. He's had just enough time to go in there and say, "You'll never believe what just happened." It was stupid. That's probably not what was happening at all.
Right.
But that's the games that
But that's what the devil
the enemy
does.
plays with
Right.
your head. And I thought, no, I'm too far in now. And I said, "Man, if you'll just give me a minute, okay?" It won't take very long. He said, absolutely. We walked around the corner, and I'm sure you've been out there, those inordinately wide production hallways, totally abandoned.
Yeah,
Nobody
he's
there.
married to Amy by now.
Oh, has been for many years.
And your children are living there in that house.
They did until they grew up and left.
Right.
This is 4 years ago.
Holy cow.
This,
Not very long at all. Right.
we walk around the corner, and I just said, all right, so I got no agenda. This is not some thinly veiled attempt to elicit guilt. I don't have anything to do right now except I know that I'm supposed to look you in the eyes and say, I forgive you. And the second I did that, he threw his arms around me, weeping for an awkward amount of time.
For men.
And he pulled back and he said, I'll never forget this the rest of my life. He said, what you just said to me matters more than what anybody on earth could ever say to me. And we're good.
Yeah.
We're real good. We walked used to be youngest, my wife and I adopted a little girl 6 years ago. But my daughter, Sarah, and her sister both got married.
Named after Sarah Cannon.
Sarah Cannon, Minnie, yes. They both got married within about a 3 or 4 month span. I don't recommend that, by the way. But Sarah asked me if I wouldn't mind if Vince and I both walked her down the aisle. And it was awesome. It was just awesome. We're so good. We're so good now. He's an amazing guy.
Yeah.
What happened, but the power of God. I did not know what I was carrying until I put it down. The power of God to work through a moment like that and let you really see what it means. Really feel what it means to forgive.
Yeah.
You become Him. At that moment that you do that, I wasn't trying to.
You're Christ-like.
You become Jesus in that moment. Yeah. And it's way, way intoxicating. It makes you want to be that person from now on. You don't ever want to change. You just don't want to carry anything toward anybody. You don't want any of that crap weighing you down. There's no point in it. It is a trick. It's an absolute evil trick of the enemy to keep you in a box and unable to really live out who Jesus is. And I'm so glad to be out of it. I can't begin to describe it. I can't.
Yeah.
It's just the freedom is
the weight that's got to be lifted.
Yeah, it's real good.
You know, Gary, you and I are a little bit strangers, and so but all that to say, I am a person on the Vince side of things.
I get it. And you're forgiven too.
But I'm waiting for someone to forgive me.
Well.
And it's really hard. And I will say, for all of you out there listening in this quarantine time, what can happen is Satan will use this isolation and this loneliness time, and you begin to, have introspection, and you'll begin to think about this and that and the other. So journaling is so important right now, so you get that out. But all that to say, some of that's really good, because you have to reevaluate your life.
You got to face it all.
I've written a couple of books. I'll have to give them to you before you leave.
Can you sign them?
I will be glad to, and I'll charge you. But all that to say, my husband and I...
I'll sign you a 5 Languages of Love book.
Oh, that's not even you. Stop claiming it. Stop claiming it.
Your husband and you.
My husband and I. My husband and I, you have to watch this documentary called Laughing in the Dark.
Okay.
I think might still be on Netflix or Prime Video or something like that. But Laughing in the Dark was about our story, and it was hard, and we had this great ending, and then he died, so we had to redo the ending. But all that to say, we went through some tough times in our 31 years of marriage.
Well, yeah, 31 years.
31 years.
You're
And
good.
if you haven't, then
You're
something's
good.
wrong with you.
Yeah.
So we went through a time where he had an affair, I had an affair. You know, we had those tumultuous moments, and the road is bitter, whatever. But anyway, when we went to marriage counseling, and I'm grateful that he was willing to go. So when we went to marriage counseling, we learned there was the hardest thing when the counselor said I had to admit to my part
Sure.
of the brokenness of our marriage.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like, I beg your pardon. I didn't have an affair. He's the one that, you know what I mean. But I had to admit to my
You gotta
part.
do it. You gotta
Yeah,
do it.
you have to. And in that, it brought, I'll be honest with you, I don't know that it brought great reprieve, but it brought understanding.
Sure.
And with understanding, the next step of that is learning about forgiveness. I have someone I love very much in my life that I adore and I miss, and I pray she sees this and that she might see that I think forgiveness comes with something you have to do. So God granting you this moment with Vince, just man to man,
Yep.
to go, I'm going to lay it out here. I want to forgive you. And he was dying to hear it.
Yes.
And, you know, it's funny that you say that because I've been with Vince down through the years, different times. We were at Sirius Satellite Radio together, or, you know, I see him at the Opry from time to time. I see now, in the past, how his countenance began to change. When you have that relief of being forgiven, that is something amazingly beautiful. What you have.
This is my oldest daughter, Millie.
Oh,
She was having her wedding pictures taken on the front lawn of Amy and Vince's place, and that's.
Look at you two dads. Look at you two. Is that
Is that on
adorable?
there? I can't see it.
I don't know. I can't tell. I turned it off. I'm just so excited. That is adorable. Yeah. Put all that to say, the relief that forgiveness does for the both of you.
Oh, it's incredible.
And so what I'm saying, in this quarantine time, I know you've got to have a song to close us out.
I'm sure.
In this quarantine
Can I
time,
go pee first?
no, because I have to go first while you sing. No.
Okay, note to self. Next time we do this, trucker's
drinking
friend.
coffee.
No, trucker's friend.
What's Trucker's Friend?
That thing that they wear so they can keep
Oh
driving.
my God, that's horrible. We're having a
Horrible nothing. We're getting them.
We're having a beautiful tender moment, and
Sorry.
you brought up the pins undergarments.
No, those aren't undergarments. It's a
Look,
device.
oh my
that-
gosh, the comments of these people. Yes, we are crazy. But all that to say, I just think the relief. No, let's don't say
The
relief.
relief? Don't say
you
it out
both
loud.
have to pee. The relief that it gave us both. Okay, come on. You got to close us out with a song.
What do you want?
Done.
What are you thinking?
Just say one verse you like. Stephanie says, okay, you want to know our verse? John 6:63.
Right.
Oh, this is really perfect for this.
Which one?
John 6:63.
Okay.
The flesh accounts for nothing. The spirit accounts for everything.
Wow.
That's my favorite. I think it really, John 6:63 says the flesh accounts for, the spirit accounts for everything, the flesh accounts for. It's a tough time, and I get thank you enough. And while we're going out, oh, I lived his song Going Home for Christmas.
Oh.
Honey, so many people love you, my new friend. Oh my gosh. This is precious. All right, what you closing out with this, brother?
The only thing that matters.
Oh my God.
What can wash away my sin? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. What can make me whole again? Nothing but the blood blood of Jesus. This is all my hope and peace, nothing but the blood of Jesus. This is all my righteousness, nothing but the blood of Jesus. Oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. No other fount I know, nothing but the blood of Jesus.
Hope you've had a great night. Thanks for joining us, and we're going to do this again. I think I found a partner, a pal, and a buddy, and I hope